Good morning, children. Let's get ready to learn something new in your geography class. This will be an interesting video for you. Today we'll be doing chapter 4, Air Pressure. Have you ever gone mountain climbing, children? In this pic you see Mount Everest. This is Mount Everest. Okay. When you start climbing from base camp, you can breathe normally. Normally you can breathe. But as you start climbing uphill, breathing becomes difficult. You start breathing heavily. Why is it so? Why does it become that when you're climbing on top, your breathing becomes heavier and heavier? It is because of air pressure. There are air pressure belts along the earth over here. See, you can see in this pic over here, this diagram. There are air pressure belts around the earth and in the entire atmosphere, even here also. Now you must be wondering, what is air pressure? Sir is telling, what is air pressure? Air pressure is the weight of the air molecules. Here you can see this pic. These are air molecules that are pressing on the earth. There are air molecules which are pressing on the earth. Everywhere air is around us, right? So air pressure, there is air pressure which are having molecules. They are pressing on the earth. The pressure of the air molecule changes as you move upward from the sea level into the atmosphere. It keeps on changing. First it is more, then little less, and very less on top. That is why when you go on top when you climb on top in the atmosphere, in the mountain and all, there you can't breathe properly because there is very less air on top. Well, today we are going to watch and learn about air pressure, temperature, altitudes, and where these pressure belts surround the earth. Come, let's travel. Now this is an activity for you children. This is an introduction to air pressure. I want you to look at this nice video, very wonderful video, very closely, and then you have to answer two questions for me. Which are the two questions? Why don't we get crushed under air pressure? Now see, you know pressure is all around, air is all around us. But why are we not getting crushed? So much of air is around us. Second question, why do astronauts wear a space suit while going on the moon? You know all astronauts have to wear a space suit. You know that white color with a helmet and all. So why are they wearing? Why? So find out in this video.
Today? No, it will be bright and sunny today. The sky is clear. It should not rain today, but it is very hot. It may rain by evening. What are you talking about? They are talking about the hour-to-hour and day-to-day condition of the atmosphere, which can be termed as weather. Weather can change dramatically within a few hours. Let us look at another aspect. We never experience snowfall in Chennai. We never experience a high rainfall in Rajasthan desert. Why do you think it is so? We have a pattern of weather condition for a particular area that is more or less the same all the years. The elements of weather, temperature, air pressure, humidity, rainfall, wind speed, varies place to place. The average weather condition of a place for a longer period of time represents the climate of a place. A hot or humid weather may make one irritable. On the other hand, a pleasant, breezy weather may make one cheerful and even plan for an outing. The degree of hotness and coldness of air is known as temperature. The temperature of the atmosphere changes not only between day and night, but also changes from season to season. What do you think is the major factor that influences the temperature of an area? An important factor that influences the distribution of temperature is incoming solar energy intercepted by the Earth, which is known as insolation. You already learned that the amount of insolation decreases from the equator towards the poles. Thus, the temperature decreases in the same manner. This is the reason why poles are covered with snow. Temperature in cities is much higher than that of villages. Why do we experience such differences? The crowded high-rise buildings of the cities trap the warm air and thus rise the temperature of the cities. Even the concrete and metals in buildings and asphalt of roads get heated up during the day, and this heat is released during the night. On the other hand, presence of greenery and absence of concrete roads and buildings make villages much more pleasant than cities. The standard unit of measuring temperature is degree Celsius, which was invented by Andreas Celsius. On the Celsius scale, the water freezes at 0 degrees centigrade and boils at 100 degrees centigrade. What do you see in common in these examples? In all the situations, we are using air that is exerting a pressure. Even air above us presses us with a great force on our bodies. Why don't we get crushed under air pressure? We don't even feel the air pressure as the air presses us from all directions and our body exerts a counter pressure. Thus, air pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by the weight of air on the Earth's surface. The air pressure is highest at sea level and decreases with height. As we move up to the upper layers of atmosphere, the pressure falls rapidly. Do you know why do the astronauts going to moon have to wear a special suit? On the moon, there is no air and hence no air pressure. Thus, the astronauts have to wear special protective spacesuits filled with air when they go to moon. Horizontally, the distribution of air pressure is influenced by temperature of air at a given place. In areas where temperature is high, the air gets heated and rises. This creates a low pressure area. Low pressure is associated with cloudy skies and wet weather. In areas having low temperature, the air is cold and heavy. Thus, heavy air sinks and creates a high pressure area. Can you predict the prevailing weather condition during high pressure? High pressure is associated with clear and sunny skies. Let us have a look at the globe to know the general pattern of pressure on Earth's surface. The air always moves from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. The movement of air from high pressure area to low pressure area is called wind. We can experience wind at work as it blows dry leaves down the pavement or uproots trees during a storm. At times, wind can be so strong that it is difficult to walk against it. Have you experienced holding an umbrella on a windy day? Winds can be broadly divided into three categories: permanent or planetary winds, seasonal winds, and local winds. Have a look at the pressure belts on the Earth's surface. There are some permanent winds that blow constantly throughout the year in a particular direction. Can you infer the direction of the winds? The winds blow from high pressure belts to low pressure belts. The trade winds, westerlies and easterlies, are the permanent winds. Some winds change their direction in different seasons. These are known as seasonal winds. Can you give an example for the same? The monsoon wind that blows over India is an example of seasonal wind. The winds blow only during a particular period of the day or year in a small area and are known as local winds. Land and sea breeze on a coastal area is an example of local wind. Can you name any other local wind? Recall the hot and dry local wind that blows in the northern plains of India. This is known as Loo.
Now you have seen the nice video, children, about air pressure. Now I told you have to answer those two questions. Remember, why don't we get crushed under air pressure? And why do astronauts wear a spacesuit on the moon? Alright. Now we'll go to the next part. That is the explanation. Now I want you to watch this explanation very closely. Okay. And pay attention, children.
Today we will be going to do the revision of our fourth lesson of geography, that is air pressure, and in today's session we are going to see whatever we have learnt in the first three parts. Okay, so moving ahead, what did we learn first in air pressure? Okay, we learned that air has weight. Yes, through this experiment of the balloon, the balloon which was blown, so we learned that air has weight. So here we can see that two balloons are blown and they are being weighed on a scale, and in the picture below down you see there's a flat balloon. So once the balloon is burst, yes, the filled balloon, it moves, it has weight. Since it's having weight, it goes down. So this shows that air has weight. Yes, so it has weight. So accordingly we will be learning as to how this is related with the other factors which is responsible for air pressure. Okay, moving ahead. Now there are variations in air pressure. Yes, differences in air pressure. Now what would these differences be? Air pressure is not uniform at all places on the surface of the earth. Yes, like we have seen, according to the altitude, the air pressure changes according to your regions. Also the air pressure changes. The equatorial region, the temperate zone, the frigid zone, the air pressure changes. So air pressure is not uniform at all places on the surface of the earth. Next, air pressure keeps on changing from time to time. Fine. Then the altitude of a region, the temperature of the air and amount of water vapor in the air are some factors influencing air pressure. Yes, so which are those factors which are influencing air pressure? The altitude of a region and the temperature of the air and the amount of water vapor in the air are some factors influencing air pressure. Okay, going ahead. Now altitude of a region and air pressure. Altitude means height. Now what would be the relation, or what would cause the altitude of a region for the air pressure to rise or to decrease? Yes, to fall. Now height of an altitude or height of a region and air pressure, how would we discuss it? Now over here you can see, yes, low altitude you have high pressure and high altitude you have low pressure. So when you climb towards altitude, see, when people go for mountaineering, I told this to you even in our second presentation also. So whereby the altitude of the region, it tells us that if you are going to increasing your scaling the mountains and all that, the air pressure decreases. Yes, at low plains your air pressure is high, whereas and when you start going at higher altitudes, the air pressure decreases. Yes, so high altitudes you have low air pressure, low altitudes you have high air pressure. Okay, so this is one factor for air pressure, isn't it? So it goes the high altitude, low air pressure, so the other way, and low altitude, high pressure. Fine. Now the second factor, air temperature and air pressure. Yes, so through this picture over here we can see, if it is cold, if your temperature is cold, you have high air pressure. If your temperature is warm, it is hot, you have low air pressure, isn't it? So you can see over here, yes, here we have cold, it is cool, so it is having high air pressure, and here we have warm, so it is having low air pressure. So this tells us that if a region which is close towards the equator, where we get the perpendicular sun rays, so over there the air pressure will be low, whereas you go up towards the polar regions, the air pressure will increase, it will have high air pressure. So accordingly the temperature of a region also depends upon influences the air pressure. In places where the summer seasons are very severe, over there you will have low air pressure. So if same place during winters where it is very cold, the high pressure will be less. So it differs not to the altitude but also from time to time. Fine. Then now based on this, there are pressure belts which are formed on the Earth's surface. Now, which are these air pressure belts? Here you can see we have already learnt about it. We have 4 pressure belts: the equatorial low pressure belt, the mid latitudinal high pressure belt, the subpolar low pressure belts, and the polar high pressure belt. So these are the 4 pressure belts which you can find in both the hemispheres. Yes, in the northern hemisphere as well as in the southern hemisphere, and they range between different latitudes. Okay, so we'll have the first one, equatorial low pressure belt. So what is equatorial low pressure belt? You can see over here, this is the equatorial low pressure belt. And what is its where it spreads it is 5 degrees north and 5 degrees south latitudes. Yes, 5 degrees north and 5 degrees south latitude. So this is the equatorial low pressure belt. So within this region, the equatorial low pressure belt is formed. Yes, since it is close to the equator, the temperature is high, so the air pressure will be low. Yes, so that is why equatorial low pressure belt. Okay, then the second one, mid latitudinal high pressure belt. Your mid latitudinal high pressure belt. Where do we have these mid latitudinal high pressure belts? Yes, we have it over here, 25 to 35 degrees north and 25 to 35 degrees south latitudes, parallels. Yes, we have it in both the hemispheres. Mid latitudinal high pressure belt, you have it in 25 degrees to 35 degrees north parallels and 25 degrees to 35 degrees south parallel. So we have these pressure belts in both the hemispheres. Fine. These were the second type of pressure belts. Then we have the third one, subpolar low pressure belts. Now what are these subpolar? Where do we find these subpolar low pressure belts? Okay, we find them over here. Yes, 55 to 65 degrees north and 55 to 65 degrees south. Yes, so we find even all the pressure belts, we find it in both the hemispheres. So over these regions, low pressure belt. So subpolar low pressure belts over here, we find it's spreading between 55 degrees to 65 degrees north parallels and 55 to 65 degrees south parallels. Fine. Then the next is polar high pressure belts. Obviously, climate is very cold, so you will have high pressure over there. Yes, that is, it ranges up to, yes, it ranges, see this very small portion. Yes, very small portion. So it ranges up to 80 degrees to 90 degrees. 80 degrees to 90 degrees in both the hemispheres. 80 degrees to 90 degrees in both the hemispheres. These polar high pressure belts are formed. Okay, children? Fine. So 4 types of pressure belts we learnt: equatorial low pressure belts, mid latitudinal high pressure belts, subpolar low pressure belts, and polar high pressure belts. Fine. Now moving ahead, oscillation of pressure belts. Okay, the duration and oscillation means how there will be the variations. Okay, the duration and intensity of sun rays varies during particular periods of the year in both the hemispheres. As a result, the location of the temperature zones and the pressure belts depend on the sun's heat also vary. Okay, so what happens? Duration and intensity of sun rays. So see, during summer times you have the daytime is longer compared to the night. So the duration of the sun rays is more and the intensity is also high because it's very hot. And otherwise in winter season you have bigger nights, longer nights and smaller days. So it over here also the air pressure will vary, and also the location of the temperature zones and the pressure belts depends on the sun's heat also vary, because some places you will get perpendicular sun rays, in some places you will get it slanting. Yes, isn't it? So accordingly the pressure belts, yes, the air pressure, it keeps on changing. Is it? There. This change is in the order of 5 degrees to 7 degrees towards north in Uttarayan and 5 degrees to 7 degrees south in Dakshinayan. So this is called oscillation of pressure belt. So it keeps changing towards the north and also towards the south. That is from 5 degrees to 7 degrees north in Uttarayan and 5 degrees to 7 degrees south in Dakshinayan. So what is all this process called? This is called as the oscillation of pressure belts. Fine. Now what are the effects of air pressure? Origin of winds, generation of storms, convectional type of rain, and it affects breathing activity 2. So air pressure has effects on these 4 things: origin of winds, generation of storms, convectional type of rain, and it also affects breathing activity. Fine. Now, though it affects breathing activity, we have an activity for us to be solved over here. What we are going to do is we are going to observe the figure and answer the question. This is the figure which we have already seen, the various pressure belts. Okay. Now, let's see what's our first question. At what parallels do we find the polar high pressure belt? Where do we find it? The polar high pressure belt. Where do we find it? We find it over here, isn't it? Yes, we find them over here. So where is it? 80 degrees to 90 degrees? Parallels, yes. So what will our answer be? 80 degrees to 90 degrees parallels in both the hemispheres. Fine. Next one. Which pressure belts do we find at 5 degrees north and 5 degrees south parallels? This you can answer even without looking at the diagram. Yes, 5 degrees north and 5 degrees south. Very good. It is the equatorial low pressure belts. These pressure belts are formed in 5 degrees north and 5 degrees south parallels. Moving ahead. In which pressure belts do we have most of the deserts? Which pressure belts? Most of the hot desert. Mid-latitudinal high pressure belts. We have most of the hot deserts in the mid-latitudinal high pressure belts. And at what parallels do we find subpolar low pressure belts? We have to tell them the latitudinal extent of these subpolar low pressure belts. And what is it? It is 55 degrees to 65 degrees parallels in both the hemispheres. 55 to 65 degrees we have subpolar low pressure belts. Okay, so we have equatorial low pressure belts in 5 degrees to north and 5 degrees south parallels. Then we have mid-latitudinal high pressure belts from 25 degrees to 35 degrees parallels in both the hemispheres. Then we have the subpolar low pressure belts from 55 degrees to 65 degrees parallels in both the hemispheres, and the polar high pressure belts in 80 degrees to 90 degrees parallels in both the hemispheres. Yes, so these are the things which we have learnt in our lesson number 4 of geography, air pressure. We learned that air has weight. We also learned that air pressure changes, it differs, it varies according to its location and also according to the time, from time to time as well. And the factors which affect air pressure are the temperature of a place and the amount of water vapor present in the air and the altitude of the region. Yes, so over there we saw, and we also saw the pressure belts formed on the Earth's surface and the effects of air pressure on the environment as well as human life. Fine. I hope you have understood this, children. Fine. So next we will be coming ahead with our new lesson. Till then, Sai Ram, stay safe. Goodbye.
Now let us recap the explanation and understand what we have learned today. Firstly, temperature and altitude. Temperature and altitude. Altitude of the region and air pressure. The proportion of dust in the air, water vapor, heavy gases, etc. is higher in the air closer to the surface of the earth. Next, air temperature and air pressure. Wherever the temperature is high, the pressure is low. As the temperature rises, the air becomes heated, it expands and becomes lighter. Example is an hot air balloon. That is why you see the hot air balloon can go on top. Here you can see the temperature is high at the sea level, but as you go on top near the mountains and all, it reduces, becomes 23.5, becomes 17, and when you go right on top near the tip, like the Himalayas and Mount Everest, which I showed you earlier, it will become 10.5 degrees. Even it becomes even less than that also as you go higher and higher. Temperature decreases 6.5 degrees per 1000 meter. That is 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit per 1000 feet. Now let's go and learn about temperate zone. What are temperate zone? Temperate zone extends from 23 degrees 30 minutes to 66 degrees 30 minutes. It is characterized by having a climate that is warm in the summer, cold in the winter, and moderate in the spring and fall. Now look at this map over here, this temperature zone, this diagram. In this diagram, where is the temperature zone? Over here. So here there's a temperature zone on top, and over here in the southern hemisphere it's over here. So we have to always look it between 23 degrees 30 minutes north and 66 degrees 30 minutes north, and over here similarly in the south, over here from here to here. This is called the temperate zone. Now we'll go to the next part, which is air pressure belts on the surface of the earth. There are many air pressure belts. Which are those? Let us learn. First is equatorial low pressure belt. A low pressure belt gets formed in the central part of the region between the parallels 5 degrees north and 5 degrees south. It's called the equatorial low pressure belt. Look at this picture over here. In the diagram you can see the equatorial low pressure belt in the center. It's in the center between 5 degrees here and 5 degrees here. Next we go to mid-latitudinal high pressure belts. Heavier air descends down in both the hemispheres, that is in the northern and the southern hemisphere, between the 25 degrees to 35 degrees parallels. This leads to the formation of high pressure belt in these parallels of latitudes in both the hemispheres, called as mid-latitudinal high pressure belt. Look at that diagram over here. We see a mid-latitudinal high pressure belt over here in the southern hemisphere between 25 to 35 degrees parallel, and similarly in the northern hemisphere mid-latitudinal high pressure belt between the same degrees, 25 to 35 degrees parallel. Now we have learnt about this. Let's go and learn about pressure belts on the Earth's surface, the third and the fourth. Third one is subpolar low pressure belt. What is subpolar low pressure belt? Air in the polar region, that is right on top, is thrown out because of the Earth's rotational motion. This leads to development of a subpolar low pressure belt between 55 and 65 degrees parallels in both the hemispheres, northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. Now look at this diagram over here, children. Here we can see over here in the top, this is the northern hemisphere. We see the subpolar low pressure belt between 55 degrees to 65 degrees parallel. Similarly in the southern hemisphere also we see the subpolar low pressure belt between 55 to 65 degrees parallel. Now let us go to the fourth pressure belt, which is called the polar high pressure belt. What is it called? Polar high pressure belt. In both the polar regions, the temperatures below 0 degrees Celsius. High pressure belts get formed between 80 degrees and 90 degrees parallel. These are called as polar high pressure belt. Now we look at the diagram again. We see the high pressure belt over here, polar high pressure belt. This is at 0 degrees in the north and in the south. South also we see the polar high pressure belt at 0 degrees. Okay. Now we have seen the pressure belts, and now we will go ahead. Finally, children, let us learn about barometers and how to understand the readings. What are barometers? Now let's watch a video on the types of barometers and how to use them to measure air pressure. The air pressure at the Earth's surface is measured with a barometer. Yes, barometer. Air pressure is measured in units of millibars. Now let us watch the video on it.
I'm going to tell you about barometer. Subscribe to this channel to increase your knowledge. Barometers are scientific instruments that are used for the measurement of atmospheric or air pressure. It is an important and essential tool used in the meteorological department for forecasting short-term weather and altitude changes. The barometers should be kept at the same level and cannot measure air pressure above the altitude of 5,000 feet. Initially, water-based barometers were used. Later, they were replaced by mercury and aneroid barometers which are the two most commonly used barometers. Let's take a look at mercury barometers. Mercury barometers have a simple construction. They consist of a long thin tube closed at one end and open at the other and a container. The tube is 100 cm or 1 meter long. Both the tube and container are filled with mercury, but the tube is completely filled such that no vacuum or air bubbles are present inside the tube. The working operation is easy. The open end of the tube that is filled with mercury is closed with a thumb and tilted upside down and placed inside the container having mercury, making sure no external air gets into the tube. Now let's take a look at aneroid barometers. The aneroid barometers are very different from mercury barometers. These are the non-liquid type and are advanced as well. An aneroid barometer is made up of an evacuated drum having various markings of measurement. Two indicators are present, one representing high pressure and the other represents low pressure. That was all about barometer. Please like and share this video and subscribe to this channel